What's up, guys? My name is Aaron. Today I'm going to be reviewing Stronger. Stronger is a drama movie that's based on a real life event. It's directed by David Gordon Green. It stars Jake Gyllenhaal and Tatiana Maslany. It's basically about this guy, Jeff, who gets his legs blown off during the Boston bombing that happened a couple years ago. And it's him kind of trying to adjust back to his regular life and stuff. This normally isn't my type of movie. This seems like a very tug at the emotions type of movie that they really try to get your emotions out, and just like a kind of Oscar bait movie. But I gave it a watch because I think Jake Gyllenhaal is one of the best actors out right now, and I think Tatiana Maslany has a lot of potential. If you've seen her in her show Orphan Black, she's a really talented actress. So them combined with a director who's a pretty interesting director. He's not a fantastic director, but he's a pretty interesting director. That made me kind of interested in the movie. I was really surprised by how great this was. Given the type of movie that it was actually really well done, really thoughtful. It really made me kind of emotional. I'm not really that type to get that emotional out movies and stuff. I think the reason why I am so drawn to this movie is because it's really low key. It doesn't play to the rafters. It's not like the writers are trying so hard to make you emotional or stuff like that. It's just really just presenting his life. You see him at the beginning of the movie where he's hanging out with his friends and stuff. He's a normal dude, just kind of an outgoing type of guy and stuff. And then after that event happens, he becomes a more withdrawn, more reserved type of guy, and it really makes you feel for the guy because you kind of got that type of involvement with him. You kind of saw how his life was before, and just seeing what's gone and stuff, it just really kind of affected you. The writing was just really a lot more low key than I would expect in a movie like this would have been. And I do think the movie kind of explores some interesting themes as well, how this tragedy would affect this dude's life, how he has to kind of acclimates to not having legs anymore, and trying to get jobs, and just that type of stuff. How this kind of affects people around him, his friends, his family, his girlfriend, and stuff like that. I think just the ramifications of being a local hero while also dealing with the PTSD after that stressful situation. I think that last one is probably the one that I thought was the most interesting, just because seeing him before and then after was just a really kind of sad thing to see him do. And the scenes where he's in public and stuff like that were really kind of jarring because this guy really didn't want to be around anybody and stuff like that. And you can really sense why, because it just kind of triggers a lot of things and a lot of emotions for him. But also how it affects his family and stuff like that. You really see that with his mom, his girlfriend, and stuff like that. So I thought that it was a really low-key approach to this type of movie, and it didn't really go so over the top and stuff like that with the portrayal of the movie. I think because it was so Boston, you know what I mean? It was really chill and stuff like that. They were kind of making jokes about his situation and stuff, and they even called him Lieutenant Dan in the hospital. So stuff like that really made it feel it was a real life event and not just just a movie, you know what I mean? It felt it gave you more of that connection because they felt like real people to me. I do think the acting is really well done too. Jake Gyllenhaal is a type of actor that I think he's a great phenomenal actor. If you see him in a lot of stuff, he's one of the more interesting actors out right now. But he goes over the top a lot in his performances. He's very, look at me, you know what I mean? It's great for the type of roles that he was doing, but I don't know, I feel he could kind of go to a different type of role. I think with this movie, he really does that. It's probably the most subtle I've seen him act in a movie since Brokeback Mountain or something like that. You could really sense kind of transitioning from a more outgoing type of guy to more of a reserved type of guy. He did a really good job with that. I think it was a kind of a bit of a stretch for him to play a 28-year-old, but he kind of has that boyish look about him, and the way that they kind of did his hair, it didn't really matter. He felt like that type of character to me, and I like that throughout his transformation, he still maintained that type of little bit of a fuck up type of guy to me. It wasn't just oh, he's a perfect type of dude now. No, he still has the same problems and stuff that he had with in the beginning of the movie, his commitment issues and just not being a reliable person. It just made it feel all the more real to me. And then Tatiana Maslany, she plays the girlfriend of his character. Her character was actually fleshed out and stuff like that. I felt you get a good sense of where she was at and stuff. Towards the beginning of the movie after the event, You could really see that she was like racked with guilt after that event, and like because she was kind of the reason why Jeff was in that situation. I think she did a really good job kind of showcasing her grief and her emotions during that initial sequence of the movie, like how she was like really like remorseful, like just in her eyes and stuff like that. She did a lot of like facial acting in the first half of the movie, and she did a really good job with that. But then after that, you could really see that her character kind of gravitates towards him and tries to, you know, help him and stuff like that. She throws herself into helping him into the situation. You can really sense why she's doing the things she's doing. But as the movie goes on, and you can see how much she's giving to him, how little he's giving back to her, you see her become like a little bit more indignant and a little bit more assertive during the movie, and she really did a great job with that transformation. I think this is probably her best movie role that's not Orphan Black. I also think it helps that the two have really amazing chemistry together. They really feel like they would be in a relationship together. It feels like really lived in and really natural when the two are on screen together, and it makes you more invested in what's happening between them. I wouldn't be surprised if the two got nominated for Oscars or other awards and stuff like that. I think it had a couple of problems. I think that the story is familiar. Like if you've seen like this type of movie before, you know how it's going to play out and stuff. I think the movie does a really great job with kind of downplaying the more dramatic elements of it, but you do see the kind of structure that the movie has. And I think the movie is a little bit too long. It's like 2 hours. I think it could have been like an hour 40, and I can pretty much see where the movie could have cut some scenes. But I think overall this is a pretty great movie that kind of elevates the type of material that it is. You really get drawn in because the story is so like intimate and so like personal. Some of the themes that the movie kind of has are really explored and stuff like that, and it doesn't give you like a nice bow tie type of ending to them. Like they really kind of delve deep into it, but it doesn't really have all the answers to this type of situation. I think the acting is really well done, and I really wouldn't be surprised if both of them got nominated. So yeah, overall I would give this like an 8 out of 10. I thought this was a pretty great movie. It really kind of surprised me because I really wasn't expecting much. And yeah, definitely see this if you have a chance to see it. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Stronger. What are your guys' thoughts? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments what you thought. And thanks for watching. Thanks, guys. Bye.